you been, my brother?
We meet again like this on the train tracks of the world.
Comrade,
What is new?
perhaps you've heard of my incarceration, my recent release. But the fact is...
I heard you escaped, Ilyich.
I was never the prisoner. They were the prisoners.
Ah, yes.
You may have noticed some of my new creations in the world of chaos.
You remember Professor Smirin from Patrice Lumumba?
Yeah, of course,
he died.
of course.
He died recently. But
I never liked him.
I never liked him.
He never held his liquor, his women.
The struggle.
look-
So tell me, my friend, what is going on with these groups?
Here's what's happening. Once again, chaos reigns supreme.
Yes.
But with our control. Control
But
chaos.
the money, you have the money. How did you teach them the money?
The money comes like the wind, like the water to me, to Ilyich.
Yes.
But my name is no longer Ilyich.
What, you changed your name?
I'm Carlos now,
You're Carlos now.
the Jackal.
The Jackal.
I come and I go, I disappear, and I own the world as we know it.
My exile from America started at the Key Club in Emeryville. I played the back table with the truckers and the pimps and the drug dealers. That's where I met Kingfish. And we started playing a two-man game at his house in Fruitvale. Head-to-head, 7-card stud. And I was running hot. And at some point during that evening, a tall Englishman came out of the back bedroom. Kingfish sold him to me for $50 so he could play a last hand, but he lost that one too. I kept rolling, just kept rolling. So I took Tony to celebrate to Giant Burger on Northside. Found a Jag and headed east. Thinking about Reno, but we were talking philosophy. He had these arcane ideas, fascinating ideas, but once we hit the parking lot at Mustang Ranch, all that philosophy was overshadowed by a beautiful horse show of gorgeous girls, everyone different. You had cowgirls and, well, Dominique was my choice. Tall, black, Chicago, everything. So Exile started in sweetness.
Tony grabs the wheel over 3,000 miles, rural New York, Westchester County. And that puts us into Scarsdale, New York on this cross-country voyage with these guys. Scene 73, the township of Scarsdale.
A flamingo lagoon. After lifting a plastic bottle of Visine from a Scarsdale convenience store, Frank and Tony really get the red out and rediscover Superman's X-ray vision. They pile into Billy's racing Porsche 911 and hit the Trotters and Yonkers, trying to parlay this timely superpower into first-class tickets to London. The boys can see the winning silks before they flutter the finish line. They're packing their pockets with 50s when one last drop brings the red-eye back. Every trifecta goes south. Hervé Villon loses his whip, and Billy's thumb has them slipping out through a flamingo lagoon of losing tickets before they go completely blind.
To feel you all around me and to take your hand along.
Enjoying your drink, Mr. Green?
What's left of it? What's left of it, Mr. Blue? Want to thank you for the gift.
It wasn't a gift, Mr. Green. There are 31 pennies in that jar.
Well, I get it. I understand. It's, you know,
Do you understand, Mr. Green?
It's a tip for my services. I get it. I mean, I understand how, you know, you can't send this to my house, or you can't send it to my place of business, so I go to my favorite restaurant.
This might be your last chance, Mr. Green.
Last chance.
I need Texas Red.
I watch these films, or whatever you call them. I see a bunch of paintings of grainy images, all these champions of literature and painting, and names like Nietzsche and Hamlet and so forth, and I'm trying to find Texas Red, so you're telling me this isn't a tip? What is this, 31?
Oh, that is a tip, Mr. Green. You need to solve the jar, and then you can find Texas Red, and your days are running out, Mr. Green.
So I get the pennies, and they have numbers on them. 31 of them, huh? 31.
I know you don't have a family, Mr. Green, so no one will miss you.
Okay, then.
So, let's redouble our efforts, Mr. Green.
I see. Well, Mr. Blue, I will give the numbers a chance. 31 numbers, and
What you need to do, Mr. Green, is to stop thinking and use your intuition. Find Texas Red. Don't plan, don't think, just find him.
I think I'll take my commission and put it to a taxi. See you, Mr. Blue.
See you later.
The money comes like the wind, like the water to me, to
Yes.
Ilyich.
Yes.
But my name is no longer Ilyich.
What? You changed your name?
I'm Carlos now,
You're Carlos now.
the Jackal.
The Jackal.
I come and I go, I disappear, and I own the world as we know it.
I knew.
There is but one other chance for the world to know me. But they'll never have it.
Chaos.
They'll never get the chance
But,
because it's like
but
this.
Ilyich, I have an assignment, and so do you. What are we going to do about these assignments?
What we always do.
We drink.
The Highgate Rumba. There's a party in Highgate tonight, says Tony, over at Edwin's, the Earl of Anglesey. You can come in jeans. He's hip to the left and strange, and loves to flatter his high society girls with articulate communists, mysterious spirits, and the cheek of dressing down. After a short walk through the leafy lanes, they show up around 10, unwrapped by help in livery, and escorted downstairs to the seance, whispering between black velvet curtains. "We welcome 2 new observers," announces Edwin. "We welcome witness of the beast." Tony shields himself with polite irony as Frank examines the writhing gray ectoplasm, forming tubes and pyramids above the table. "Master Alistair, reveal your desire," intones Edwin, lifting his beefy arms to the smoke, as his guests concentrate on a central foaming crystal ball. "Why do you insist on juvenile pranks?" retorts a sharp voice. Everybody expects the bald pate, the familiar sadistic glare, but floating above their heads is lamb, Crowley's Tibetan contact, seething gray skin, and wraparound alien eyes. "Release me this instant! I have nothing to say to young fools." They instinctively blink, and lamb disappears in a blue snap of electricity. "Well," says Edwin, stroking his bushy sideburns, "it must be time for drinks. Hey-ho!" They return to the reception hall to mingle with newcomers, spooning rounds of Stilton cheese and spilling vintage champagne on their posh buckled shoes. Edwin circulates, introducing London's rich and clever heirs to the Reds and anarchists in the New World News. Their carefully coiffed and pressed personalities, brushing black motorcycle jackets and flowing Arab gowns. "If you see anybody you're not supposed to know, it's because Guy Burgess made the invitations," jokes Edwin, mixing the unbelievably inane with the unconditioned insane over Dom Perignon. Tony disappears into a connecting closet with a brunette in lime pastels, and Frank allows a whiskey buzz to take him towards the arboretum, across an enormously immaculate lawn, and into a vertical grip. He's thinking trees are older. Trees are immeasurably older than society. Trees are hardwired in our brains, carried root, sap, and leaf in our deepest personal mythologies. When he happens upon two lovers tastefully necking on a bench.
Frank, old boy, good to see you again.
Frank sees a look of welcome irritation wash the girl's face as the man gives him a big embrace. It's Ilyich, his Venezuelan friend from Moscow. Ilyich, with a jaunty new mustache, still chasing expensive skirts. This one curses softly and disappears. So they sit down on the bench in a leftover cloud of opium to catch up.
I went back to Caracas, but ended up working for the wrong fiction, and they threw me out. So we're both American exiles now, even if it took you a bit longer to find London. English women are all the best in the world. Well, maybe not the best, but they love drugs and they hold their liquor. So what more do you want? Would you like Melinda's number?
Ilyich leans close.
You must tell me what happened. To the diggers. Was it Hoover? And the Weather Underground? Breaking Tim Leary out of jail was high art. Exceptional.
They're bluffing, Ilyich. They're idiots. They're just STS kids, falling for their own press releases. They're retarded roadies who blew up the band by accident.
So why are you here?
I resigned. I'm here with Tony.
Maybe so, Frank. But just the same, powerful numbers in certain covert operations. Think you're still operational?
I'm in flight. And I'm not fighting anymore. Not in America and not in Europe. Let's just go back to the party.
I've got a better idea, Frank.
What's that?
Follow me.
Ilyich gives him a swig of warm Swedish vodka, and they wander through dewy fields behind luxurious villas to a small square cemetery shrouded in fog. Ilyich hops the wrought iron fence and waltzes smoothly to the spot. Frank lights their Cuban cigars. With the exuberance of student conspiracy, they drink and smoke fast. Two bulky profiles from North and South America, sitting below the big black marble head of Karl Marx. After 20 minutes, they're toasted, praising each other in Russian slang. A little improvised soft shoe on his ornate Victorian gravestone, singing The International and all the pub doggerel they can recall.
Death to capitalism!
Death to capitalism!
As they rumba, hand to hip, 7 times around the only philosopher who prized the world more than his own ideas. They finally get dizzy and fall to the wet grass laughing.
One last salute to health and freedom and fraternity.
Then a sodden, wobbling way back to Edwin's mansion. The butler gives them white terry bathrobes to replace their muddy jeans and jackets, and these prove to be of great interest to the bored birds lingering slim and witty for the first directions of another Highgate party.
One of the most subtle and yet colossal blunders of the human mind is the assumption that all men have souls. This pernicious fallacy informs and invests much of what we think of as Christian, democratic, liberal, and because it's false, everything that leads from it is also false. We, modern men, are somehow habituated to think, I have a finger, he has a finger, she has a finger, therefore we all must have souls. We all have fingers, we all have brains, we all have trials and tribulations, we all must have souls. Nothing could be further from the truth. Sometimes entire generations, millennia go by without the arrival of a soul on earth. Those of the old school knew this. There was a training, there was an understanding, and there was a dedication to the creation of a soul. And only after long and arduous dedication and investigation did the soul arise here, there, always in sporadic spots. Now, I know most of you won't believe me, and I tell you, I'm not asking for your belief. Faith is not a part of this message. What is a part of this message? This is an example. Music has been with us forever. Since we first started pounding the drums and playing the flute and going wild in our spring ecstasies, music has always been with us, and it is with us today. And yet, in the entire history of music, it reflects emotions, yes. It reflects nature, perhaps, yes. But the soul who created music in his image was Beethoven. And he was the first artist who made music in his own image, who put his personality into the notes and exposed the tension and the conflict between a soul and a soulless society. That tragic, that perennial element of conflict is in every note of Beethoven, and it is why he is so brilliant of an artist, because a soul resonates with that soul. It is not entertainment. It is not diversion. It is not even spring ecstasy. It is a soul bringing forward another soul in time. And so you say, well, if a soul is not born, how do we create it? Well, frankly, I don't know how souls were created before, but I know how they must be done now. And the first step is deprogramming. You must eliminate all belief systems that commit you to work, that commit you to routine, and that commit you to profit. You must take the responsibility, you must understand the responsibility of bringing consciousness to God. Every act is a theological act, if seen correctly. You first deprogram yourself, and then you concentrate on connecting your mind with the mind of God, your will with the will of God. Once you make that firm connection with the potential, the actuality, and the future of God's development, then you will have created a soul that resonates with every soul that has been created in the same purpose. And then, and only then, will you truly understand.
Not since Moscow have I seen your face, my brother, huh?
What's going on with these groups? What's going on?
You know what's happened.
What is
It's
this?
like
What's
my
going
father
on?
told me, you'll not amount to anything, but I've amounted to everything.
Everything. I knew you were the... Dr. Mordachi, what's going on? What is going on?
What is happening is the complete destruction of the world as we know it. I continue to confound, I continue to elucidate, I continue to know, and yet... So, again, our plans are bigger than we both thought.
Yes.
Together, the world and the domination. They thought that I was the prison, but in fact, they're the prison.
Yes.
They know nothing. They know nothing. What
Yes.
I know is that terrorism and chaos rules, and that
And they recruited me to kill you, and they recruited you to kill me, and here we are together, brother.
but the one thing that you must know...
My truk.
All right, Mr. Blue. Take a numbered penny out of the can. What does it say? It says 28. It says 28. Echoes. Echoes? Really testing my knowledge of rock and roll history with that one, I think. That sounds like a Pink Floyd song. Some other trippy bit of nonsense. For Echoes, in the credits, it contributes that to Jackson Pollock. Jackson Pollock, and then to Echoes. And it looks like an astral projection. It's a picture of space, I believe. Stars. Starry, starry sky. Starry, starry night, I should say. It's starry, starry night, it's that painting, okay? I'm guessing these individual bursting stars that we see are perhaps could they be the individual travelers bursting? Right? He says, take me, walk with me down the river, he says earlier. Walk with me down the river, follow me here, and you'll be on your journey. And watch the bubble, embrace the bubbles, and the bubbles pop, and then you see these bubbles in space. And the bubbles look like shooting stars in space. It's their final voyage. Is it an echo? So that you're just seeing let's say there's an explosion in a valley, you see the echo, or hear the echo, but you don't see the explosion, so we don't actually see, we just see the echo, I guess, the mirror image, maybe. Hello, 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 hello. Where are you, Texas Red, 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 red. I'm Texas Red, here I am, It'd be nice if it was that easy, but I guess it won't be that easy. Nothing's easy with this guy.
Illich, I have an assignment, and so do you. What are we going to do about these assignments?
What we always do.
We drink.
First we drink, then we will decide if it's important.
After we destroy the world, we create a new one, huh? Illich, I mean,
Oh, unbelievable.
the world is disintegrating in our feet.
Nothing can hold me. No time, no prisons, nothing. I spit on it.
Oh,
I spit on it. You mock me. I mock you.
it's been many years since I had my conversation with Ilyich, Sánchez. He said at the time, my father was perfect. And at the time, I did not know. I was dreaming, of course, maybe. Может быть. Maybe dreaming. But a middle-class father for a revolutionary is perfect, now that I see it.
The Three Names of Lenin.
From inside our frame of reference, we can see the news of the world as a complex contest between agencies. Nothing is as it appears to be, and the message is always the same. If you don't obey the code in the text, we will kill you. Consider Bobby Fischer. World press made him a hero, defeating Spassky at Reykjavik. The self-taught Jewish grandmaster defeats the atheist Russian chess machine to become world champion. But the maps, not the territory. We know Fischer's a KGB asset, a rabid anti-Zionist, easily manipulated. Spassky's the sophisticated Jew, the Western sympathizer, the impossible to control. We know Moscow ordered Spassky to throw the match, ordered Fischer to make prestigious demands for his defense of Kharkov, so the ambitious young party, Apartik, can become the world champion without playing a game. Spassky's retired from international chess, allows to marry in peace. Fischer subtracted from the news of the world, hidden in a Pasadena Christian cult, and eventually allowed to wander South America, Asia, Central Europe, like a bearded wraith, like a fake wandering Jew.
Another pint of Guinness, says Ilyich, gesturing to a chubby, blonde barmaid in the Green Park pub.
The more you insist upon your resignation, the more they think you're a sleeper, Frank. They assume you're programmed for something big. Here we go! A toast to the news behind the news.
They clank and drink.
I guess you know I've been working for George Habesh and Wadi Haddad. I shot the Zionist Zoltar's safe a few miles from here and bombed 2 fucking Jewish banks. Nothing important yet. Eventually, I'll have my own network, but now I'm working with the Popular Front. The Palestinians are exiles in their own land, stripped of future and authority, denied both a future and a past. The Russian model is a lie. It's not about the workers. It's about the people, Castro knows. He understands the deeper unities. The Russian nation-state is identical to the American nation-state. They're both controlled by London banking cartels, and they both give Israel the bomb. This way Castro promotes barter economy and free social programs for the people. Independence from the globalist bankers. The people are the way. Do you know they dismissed me from Patrice Lumumba for attending the Arab demonstration? Why did they kick you out of Berkeley?
They didn't. It was my father.
Yes, of course. Sometimes we're not the same voice. Your father designed the guidance circuits for surface-to-air and air-to-air missiles during the Vietnam War. He played golf, maintained the yard, took family to mountains every weekend in brown Dodge station wagon. He never explained the decisions. His mood was law. He erupted without warning. I wish he were mine! How easy to rebel against the dogma and dogmatic fascism of Yankee middle class. A fistfight. How literary. You never went back. Extraordinary. You probably saw him beating your mother. I suspected it. You should be the one for the Popular Front, not me. My father was a rich lawyer in Caracas who overcame my theological tendencies with proper leftist education in Cuba. He had a mistress for each season of the day and of the year, and Casanova autographed a note that he had kept safely. And Elba divorced him and took me away. He continues to support me, my Marxist training in Moscow, and encourage my interest in languages. He still writes me twice a month and always includes a substantial check. So how can I kill such a father? How could it even come to mind? In the end, I'm sure he'll bring me to God. But you denied your father and your God in one move. You walked away. How fortunate, how free. My father named his sons the three names of Lenin. That was the limit of his lunacy. But Kutcher further thought genetic insanity could strike him down at any moment while he was checking his oscilloscope, weeding the yard, shopping at Kmart, when he saw you in Glendover, curse clouded everything. Why were you so arrogant, so independent, so indifferent to the middle class rewards? Why did you resist his engineering? How could you evade the conditioning of pleasure and pain, of presence and absence? Your father was perfect, made your life political, mystical, autobiographical. Well, I'm going to Brussels, and you're off to Milan. So allow me to propose a small wager. A bottle of good Russian vodka for the first feature sighting, and a large tin of Bagula caviar for the terrorist star. I say the world's too small to stage for both of us, and too large for one of us. We meet again, then. We meet again.
You're on.
With the odd and certain sensation that his memories were being scrambled to a slightly different frequency.
And one last thing.
As they touch mugs to seal the bet.
George gave me a new name. Finally, something Spanish. I'm Carlos now.